Welcome to KEPME's online training for the workflow approval process for educators with the Upgrade Me package. In today's session, we will be discussing how to submit your work for approval, reviewing the status of your room leader's approval of an article, and the option to use the filter on web to perform batch actions. Let's get started. By now, you have probably been informed that you will be using the workflow approval feature on KEPME. As an educator, this means you will need to submit any artifacts for approval before being able to share an item with parents. So how do you submit an item for approval? Depending on the settings enabled by management, you will need to send moments and stories, or just stories, for approval. If moment approval is required, when uploading an image to a student's profile, you will see the options to send for approval or write a story. The Send for Approval option is available to use if you are wanting to share the image with a caption and it needs approval first. Alternatively, if you wanted to share an image with a caption after the image was uploaded, click on the image from the Moments tab and you will see the Send for Approval button located below the image itself. When using workflow approval, sending stories for approval is something you will need to action regardless of management settings. When creating a story, the option to send for approval will be available above the document preview, to the top right of your screen. Simply click this option when you have completed your learning story. After selecting the Send for Approval button, the option will be replaced by an aeroplane with a lock icon. This is to indicate that your story is pending approval and changes cannot be made during this time. At KEPME, we understand there are times that more than one educator will be contributing to a document, and it is important to know when each person has completed their section before submitting the article for approval. To assist in the communication process, KEPME offers a private message area for each article. Each educator can record a private note that cannot be viewed by parents, stating their contribution is ready for submission. Once the final educator has completed their section, they are able to submit the final article for approval, knowing all educators have signed off on their contribution. So now you have submitted an article for approval. How will you know when it has been reviewed? When a room leader reviews an artifact, you will receive a notification to inform you that something has been reviewed. All notifications can be located in the Notifications menu for web and iOS users, with iOS users also receiving push notifications. The notifications are a great way to become informed that something has been reviewed. However, as busy educators, you may not have the time to review every notification. What are the other ways that you can see the reviewed items? The first option is at the classroom or student profile level. Clicking on a profile from the Profile Selection menu and selecting the Stories tab will display the albums available in the selected profile. Click into an album to view its contents. Web users can see an overview of the content by clicking on the pencil icon to the left of the album preview, while iOS users will see the preview of the content in the photo reel at the bottom of the screen. In the photo reel, you will notice there are some icons displayed, which is a quick way to review the status of any story. If an image has a white icon, it informs you that the story has previously been shared with parents, while grey icons are for those items that are yet to be shared. All artifacts that are in the workflow approval stage will have grey icons with an additional symbol. Icons that are displaying a lock are those that are awaiting approval. Icons with a cross are those artifacts that have been sent back for rework, and icons with a tick have been approved and are ready for sharing. In addition to the Stories screen, these icons will be visible on images in the Moments tab if moment approval is required. Please remember, if an icon is displaying grey, the item has not been shared with parents. So how do you only see the stories that have been approved or require rework? You are able to use the filter icon to include the approved or rework option under the filter by status section. Let's select the rework required status. Once the filtering has been applied, all stories that have been sent back for rework in the selected album for the selected profile will display in the preview. Simply click into the learning story to make your changes and send the article back for approval. Sometimes an educator may also include comments against your work. These private comments, as well as the log to all state changes to the story, can be viewed by clicking on the comment icon. In addition to the filter and icons, web users are also privy to an additional feature which enables you to perform batch actions at the click of a button. As a web user, you will find the filter icon located on the top right of your screen. To use this filter, select one or more of the options in the Class Student field, as well as the album from the Album field. In addition to these mandatory fields, you will have the option to include filtering by educator, tags, date, or status. The status option will allow you to filter artifacts that are in a draft, pending, approved, or rework required state. This time we will select the approved status and click the apply button to view the list of search results. When your results are displayed, you can click the album link to view all the stories that fit the filter criteria for the selected student, or click the date link, which will allow you to preview an individual story. For the purpose of this training session, we will click the album link. As mentioned earlier, clicking on the album link will display a preview of all stories that fit the filter criteria for the selected student. Similar to when you are applying filtering within an album, you will notice you will be provided with a preview of the articles that fit the filter criteria. If you are happy with all the stories and would like to share them with the parents, click on the filter icon to go back to the search results. You are now able to batch share the articles by selecting the tick box on the top left corner of the results table. This will select all the listed artifacts. Once an item is selected, you will see the option to share via KepMe on the top right-hand corner. Simply select the button to batch share all approved articles. Please note, if your results do spill over several pages, you will be required to tick the Select All button for each page. If you would like to change any filter criteria, you can remove the selected filter option by clicking on the cross and add new criteria using the selection boxes. To ensure your list reflects the new criteria, please click the Apply button. You will notice that changing the status will allow you to perform batch actions. Changing the status to Rework Required or Draft allows you to send batch items for approval rather than having to submit each item one at a time. Now that you know how to make the most of your workflow approval functions, why not give it a try from your account? We thank you for watching this workflow approval training for educators. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact our wonderful support team.